Welcome to NTD News Today. I'm Stephanie Cox. Here are today's top stories. President Trump begins his high-stakes Asia trip by brokering a peace deal in Malaysia, and signs of a flurry of trade deals after issuing a warning to Hamas. Clashes broke out overnight outside Portland's ICE facility. Meanwhile, National Guard deployment is on hold for now as the courts weigh a decision. Jason Blair reports from the scene. Can we resistance train the brain the way we do the body? Vital Signs Brendon Fallon shares insights from a professor of medicine and brain health expert.
This is NTD News Today, live from our global headquarters in New York City.
President Trump, on the first leg of his high-stakes Asia trip, oversees a peace agreement between Cambodia and Thailand. And in Malaysia's capital, just days before his expected meeting with CCP leader Xi Jinping, the president strikes two more rare earth deals, this time with South Asian countries. NTD's Washington correspondent Mari Otsu has more from Kuala Lumpur.
This is a momentous day for all of the people of Southeast Asia as we sign a historic agreement to end the military conflict between Cambodia and Thailand.
President Trump, a little less than 2 weeks after signing that Gaza ceasefire deal in Egypt alongside other Middle East leaders, is now here in Kuala Lumpur, the capital of Malaysia, where he's signing another peace agreement, this time between Cambodia and Thailand.
I have nominated President Donald J. Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize.
The joint peace declaration calls for Thailand to release 18 Cambodian prisoners of war and for both sides to agree to removing heavy weapons from the border area. It also calls for observers from South Asian countries, including Malaysia, to ensure that the peace prevails.
The world needs leaders who promote peace strongly. To achieve that, you have to break some rules, as you did today. When President arrived, he asked me to join him in the car. I said that's against the security and protocol rules. And he was delighted to break the rules, and It was a nice ride.
And before inviting Prime Minister Anwar into the beast, President Trump welcomes the Emir of Qatar onto Air Force One during a refuel in Doha.
I don't know what's more important, being beloved or respected. Both. You have a preference? Because you have both. You're one of the few.
Celebrating their partnership in advancing Middle East peace while threatening Hamas to return the bodies of the deceased hostages.
Hamas will be not hard to take care of. It will be very quickly.
Arriving in Kuala Lumpur, a fighter jet welcomes Air Force One into Malaysian airspace, and President Trump is greeted by the Prime Minister and local officials. Meanwhile, the president is signing a flurry of deals on trade and critical minerals with Thailand, Cambodia, and Malaysia.
Look at his signature. How interesting is that? Right? It's very different. It's very good. Very artistic.
Tariffs will stay at 19% for most imports from these three South Asian countries. But under these agreements, Thailand and Malaysia will play a bigger role in the U.S.'s critical mineral supply amid China tightening its rare earth exports.
Now, President Trump is set to depart Malaysia for Japan Monday morning, where he's expected to meet with the new Japanese Prime Minister and Japan's Emperor. And on Thursday, President Trump is set to have a meeting with CCP leader Xi Jinping on the sidelines of APEC in South Korea. Reporting from Kuala Lumpur, Mari Otsu, NTD News.
Thanks to Mari for that report. Ahead of President Trump's visit, U.S. and Chinese negotiators spent 2 days in Malaysia and announced a framework deal which Beijing calls a basic consensus. Chinese negotiator Li Qiangang said the U.S. was tough while China stood firm. They discussed fentanyl, export controls, trade, and maritime logistics. The potential 100% tariff on China is now off the table, according to the U.S. Treasury Secretary. The current tariff truce expires on November 10th, and analysts expect another extension. Before his meeting with Xi Jinping on October 30th, Trump struck a flurry of trade deals to secure critical minerals and markets for U.S. agricultural goods. Earlier this month, Beijing restricted mineral exports and cut soybean purchases. Trump also offered tariff exemptions to Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Malaysia as part of the agreements.
My message
to the nations of Southeast Asia is that the United States is with you 100%, and we intend to be a strong partner and friend for many generations to come.
Responding to concerns that the U.S. might trade its support for Taiwan for a deal with China, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Saturday that the U.S. will not abandon its longstanding commitment to Taiwan. And President Trump is set to meet Japan's new Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi on Tuesday, October 28th. The two allies are expected to sign a major deal on next-generation technologies. The goal is to help emerging nations break free from China's grip on artificial intelligence. According to Nikkei Asia, the agreement will cover AI, 6G, quantum computing, nuclear fusion, space exploration, and medical and biotech supply chains. It will also promote exports of key AI infrastructure, including data centers and supercomputers, as both Washington and Tokyo grow more concerned about the global South's reliance on Chinese AI. During President Trump's first term, the State Department launched the Clean Network Initiative, aimed at preventing Chinese regime from accessing sensitive data. Its main goal was to keep Huawei's 5G technology out of U.S. and allied networks. And protests continue outside the ICE facility in Portland, Oregon. Multiple clashes broke out Friday night as the courts deliberate over a National Guard deployment order. NTD's Jason Blair brings us updates from Portland.
So the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals just recently paused an order that did allow for the National Guard to be deployed here in Portland. And the judge, Sydney Thomas, says that she needs a little extra time, but she does plan to make a decision on Monday. So the earliest we could see the National Guard here in Portland is going to be on Tuesday night. However, we will have confirmation on Monday about that. And the main focus for the White House's decision to bring the National Guard here is the Portland ICE facility, where protests have been going on since June, pretty much on a daily basis. Here are some highlights from recent protests in front of the building. Despite some recent wet weather, protesters still have been gathering outside of the ICE facility in Portland, Oregon. When cars need to drive out of the building, federal agents exit to move protesters back and make room for the vehicles. Friday night saw a flurry of activity. There was also a large presence of ICE supporters acting as counter-protesters. There were at least 2 physical fights between protesters and ICE supporters. One involved 2 females around 9 p.m. in the night, and one was later in the night involving numerous people directly outside of the ICE facility. It ended after federal agents fired pepper balls from the roof, dispersing the brawl. There were also a few lighter physical altercations, some people saying that they had been pepper sprayed. And there were plenty of verbal standoffs all night, one even involving a clown. The Portland police were seen in the area briefly a few times throughout the night, investigating and doing a little crowd control. However, they confirmed that no arrests were made. So with so much going on between the protesters and counter-protesters, the agents at one point actually had an easier time moving cars in and out because people were kind of scattered around the area and still, instead of being focused directly in front of the building, which has been the case most of the time.
Jason Blair with that report. Staying with Portland and the legal battle over the National Guard deployment there, we're joined now by fellow in law and policy at the Center for Immigration Studies and a former immigration judge, Andrew Arthur. Judge, good to see you with us today. We're expecting developments early this week from a federal judge and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, either of which could decide to continue restraining Trump from sending in troops to Portland. What are you expecting there?
So, yeah, it's very interesting, Stephanie. The Portland, Oregon sits in the Ninth Circuit. There are 29 judges currently. There's one pending nomination or pending approval by the Senate. But so if there is a rehearing, then those 29 judges will get together and they will vote to see whether or not they should rehear the case. If it is reheard, it'll then go to an in banc or en banc panel of 11 judges who will then decide whether or not to issue a different decision from the one that was issued on Monday. The one on Monday cleared the way for President Trump to deploy the National Guard to Oregon and, talked about things that have gone on there over the past few months, including a period of 3 weeks when that building had to be shut down because it was so damaged by the protesters. So there's a lot going on in the street, but it was interesting because according to reports that I've seen last night, the Portland police actually showed up in front of the building and cleared out encampments that were there. Portland doesn't want the National Guard to show up for a variety of reasons, some of them practical, some of them political. So, I think we're going to see an increased police presence because Oregon wants to argue we don't need the National Guard. Local cops can take care of it.
And yet, as we know, President Trump has described Portland as being war-ravaged. The administration itself describes its larger actions as being a kind of national security action. How does the law, in your view, treat what we can see out there on the ground at these protests and, in general, where Trump would be wanting to send those troops?
That's a great question, Stephanie. And the standard is set forth in 10 United States Code 12406. And it permits the president to deploy the National Guard in cases of invasion, which nobody's arguing, rebellion, which the government is asserting, but also when the regular forces of the United States are unable to enforce federal law. The federal law in this instance is the Immigration and Nationality Act. And the argument that the government is making is that because there's so much disruption there, ICE officers can't get out and do their jobs. And I actually think that on that basis, based upon the facts as laid out in the Monday Ninth Circuit order, the government is on pretty good ground. Curiously enough, one of the judges on that panel wrote a separate concurrence and said that what's going on in Portland actually looks like other rebellions that this 12406 has been used for, including some that a lot of American school children should be familiar with, the Whiskey Rebellion and Shays Rebellion, both of which involved tax collection, federal tax collection. Again, a federal issue. In this one, it's immigration, but another federal issue. So, I think that it's possible this case could get to the Supreme Court, and I think the Supreme Court is actually going to interpret that law. But let me just give you an anecdote that was raised in that decision. The judge who wrote the concurrence noted that President Nixon called out the National Guard under this provision to deliver the mail during a postal strike in 1970. So if National Guard troops can deliver the mail, they could probably push back people dressed as clowns and in lobster outfits from the streets in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, what we're seeing on the ground is quite a mix of phenomena. Looking at this historic aspect of the way the law has been applied, just recently, U.S. District Court Judge April Perry said she saw a troubling trend of equating protests with riots. How do you think the founders would have perceived what's going on right now in this conflict?
Yeah, and that's a great question. The provision that I talked about, 12406, actually flows from the Militia Acts. Those are some of the oldest laws in our country, and they were passed specifically so that the federal government can call out the militia when it needs to enforce federal law. This is a federal law. I think that, part of what Judge Perry and what the judges in the Ninth Circuit were talking about, all of this is political spin. Ignore the clown and ignore the person dressed in the lobster suit, and you see a lot of people wearing riot helmets and dark glasses with their faces covered out there actively disrupting what's going on. Another thing that they talked about the Ninth Circuit decision was that, there are people who are actively doxing ICE officers in this crowd. And the judge in concurrence in the Ninth Circuit equated that to a situation during, I think it was Fry's rebellion, which I wasn't familiar with before this, but in which, locals would pour boiling water on tax agents and try to get them to quit their jobs. I mean, that's a pretty direct equivalent. I think the founders never would have, believed that state and local authorities would be out there, marshaling, riling up their citizens in order to oppose federal action. But I don't want to guess what Jefferson and Adams would have done. But, this looks like a situation in which the state and local officials need to calm down. Let's have ICE officers do their jobs. Everybody needs to sit down. Let's get this done. Or alternatively, just say you're going to nullify federal law, J.B. Pritzker or Governor Kotek in Oregon, and then we could have a much bigger federal discussion.
Well, it's certainly been excellent to hear your input on this discussion. Thank you so much, Judge Andrew Arthur. Good to see you today.
Thank you, Stephanie.
And next, from strikes on suspected drug boats and major news sanctions on Russia to a rare earth minerals deal with Australia, the Trump administration kept up its fast pace this week. NTD's Daniel Monahan has your White House Week in Review.
U.S. forces hit 2 suspected drug smuggling vessels in the Eastern Pacific, killing 5 people.
If people want to stop seeing drug boats blow up, stop sending drugs to the United States.
We're allowed to do it. It's in international waters. If we don't do it, we're going to lose hundreds of thousands of people.
Senator Rand Paul and others have questioned the legality of the strikes. The U.S. announced new sanctions on Russia this week in an effort to limit the Kremlin's ability to fund its war machine.
These are very big. Those are against their 2 big oil companies, and we hope that they won't be on for long. We hope that the war will be settled.
Trump also canceled a possible meeting with Vladimir Putin in Budapest, saying,
"It didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel like we were going to get to the place we have to get." So.
Construction has begun on a 90,000 square foot White House ballroom that will seat between 650 and 1,000 people. It will be funded by President Trump and other donors.
This is going to be probably the finest ballroom ever built, and we're doing it no cost to the country. In order to do it properly, we had to take down the existing structure.
Critics are pushing back on the reconstruction, including the National Trust for Historic Preservation, which called for a halt to the project pending a public review process. Vice President J.D. Vance was in Israel this week.
These are days of destiny, and we're very excited to sit down and work together on the Gaza peace plan. We have a very, very tough task ahead of us, which is to disarm Hamas, but rebuild Gaza to make life better for the people in Gaza, but also to ensure that Hamas is no longer a threat.
President Trump and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on October 20th signed a rare earths agreement at the White House.
In about a year from now, we'll have so much critical mineral and rare earths that you won't know what to do with them. They'll be worth about $2.
The 2 countries plan to jointly invest more than $3 billion in critical minerals projects over the next 6 months.
It's really nice. Thank you. Come on out.
President Trump celebrated the Indian holiday Diwali in the White House.
Thank you all. Thank you.
FBI Director Kash Patel called it an honor to mark the occasion in the Oval Office.
Indian Americans around the world and Indians around the world are thrilled that you are such a profound leader in sharing this diversity with the world.
Daniel Monahan, NTD News.
Thank you, Daniel. And coming up, President Trump is putting a hold on plans to send federal agents to San Francisco, saying he's giving the city a chance to get crime under control on its own. The move follows talks with Mayor Daniel Lurie and Silicon Valley business leaders. Why did the president honor Mayor Lurie's request? And can the mayor deliver significant change in San Francisco? That and more after the break.
Come to Mathis Home today and save with Black Friday deals all over the store. They have the largest selection of bedrooms in the styles you like at the prices you'll love. This metal bed with a matte black finish is a classic with a modern flair. Black Friday priced at just $2.99. Check out this upholstered bed covered in an ultra plush fabric. It's a hot buy at just $2.99. They're all in stock now, so you can get fast delivery absolutely free. For style and value, shop the Black Friday deals at your furniture superstore, Mathis Home.
Hi, I'm Susan Lucci. You may know me from my many years on television. I never thought about heart disease until I had my own heart event. I felt this slight pressure on my chest, just slight. I thought, oh, it's nothing, it'll go away. I didn't get it. I did not get it. A few days later, while shopping at a boutique, that pressure returned, much stronger. It felt like an elephant pressing on my chest. I had a 90% blockage in my main artery and a 75% blockage in the adjacent artery. I was rushed into surgery where I received 2 stents in my arteries. Stents developed through research funded by the American Heart Association. Those stents saved my life. That's why I'm in front of you today, asking you to join me in supporting the American Heart Association by becoming a monthly donor. Call now or go to helpheart.org. For only $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you can help fund the next medical breakthrough. Get the next person trained in CPR, the next hospital certified in high-quality cardiovascular care. I'm so grateful to the American Heart Association. Their research helped save my life. I can enjoy life with my children, my grandchildren, and my friends. Heart disease is America's #1 killer, and your support now can help save your life or the life of someone you love. Give $19 a month with your credit card, and we'll send you this special t-shirt that you can wear to show that you are helping save lives. Please, listen to your heart. The only reason I'm here today is because I did. So please call the number on your screen or go to helpheart.org now. Join me as a monthly donor today and help save even more lives. Thank you.
Kids love it. Parents trust it. Obviously. Explore GJW Plus Kids Series and Ganjiong Campus courses led by expert educators. This is spectacular. Children will learn values like respect, responsibility, and knowledge in language, science, and more. Wow. All while having fun. Perfect. Subscribe today at GJW Plus Kids, where learning meets fun.
Welcome back. President Trump is halting plans to send federal agents to San Francisco this week. The president says he's giving the city a chance to turn things around on its own following a request from Mayor Daniel Lurie. Can we expect significant change? NTD's Steve Lance taps a panel of experts for their insight. They're Democratic strategist Lee Neves and Republican strategist and president of Clink Campaigns, Matt Clink.
President Trump appears to be giving the city of San Francisco a crack at getting crime under control at the municipal level, while saying that federal agents could get it done faster. Matt, why did Trump honor Mayor Lurie's request, and do you think Mayor Lurie will make significant changes in the great city of San Francisco?
Well, 2 observations here. One, it's the master of the obvious statement of the day is the mayor and Donald Trump actually spoke, and human one-on-one communication proved to be a decisive factor in the decision that was made, rather than the political clause coming out and each side cornering up. They actually discussed the situation. And the second point here is, look, Daniel Lurie is a newly elected mayor. He is no London breed. He came into office with a different perspective. Make no doubt about it. He is a Democrat because a Republican couldn't even get elected dog catcher in San Francisco. But Daniel Lurie came in and he promised to do things differently in the city. And I think that Trump wants to give him the space to do it. So I think the combination of a new mayor with a new agenda and just civil communication between 2 elected leaders, it yielded a good result for the city of San Francisco.
Yeah, Lee, Matt makes an excellent point. The open line of communication seems to have paid off, at least for now here. Could we see other cities follow suit and, attempting to address crime on their own proactively?
I think what you see here is something that you've seen from the Trump administration from when they first got office, which is basically act first and then find out the facts and ask questions later. It would have been very clear from the get-go. President Trump could have picked up the phone as soon as Mark Beanoff opened his mouth and spoke out of his lane and said, "Hey, Mayor, what's going on in San Francisco?" Mayor then could have told him that, "Hey, crime is going down. The city feels much safer." I'm a San Francisco Giants season ticket holder. I have 0 problems walking from my BART station to the Oracle Park where the Giants play. His staff could have very easily said, because it's been in the news, it's been a story this entire year, San Francisco is getting safer. crime's going down, people are feeling safer, visitors are feeling safer. But instead, the administration, like they did with Doge, where they fired a bunch of people, had to come back and hire them back later when they were like, oops, we shouldn't have done that. Administration found out after they spoke first that maybe what they thought wasn't really.
Well, I have to say, it's a beautiful city. Sadly, I was robbed in broad daylight, granted a decade ago, at Twin Peaks, of all places. So really hope that it is on the upswing, for sure. I do want to switch topics a bit here. We don't really get into sports too much, but how can we avoid it today, especially sports and gambling? 3 NBA stars, including Hall of Famer Chauncey Billups, have been charged in a major federal gambling bust. Lee, does this case change the way people view the integrity of not just sports betting, but sports in general?
I think it does, and I think it's a really black mark for the NBA. And this is not the first time this has happened in the NBA. If you guys will recall, last year there was a player for I believe it was the Toronto Raptors, who has been suspended for life for the same thing, insider trading. I believe in this case for Chauncey Billups, the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, he was busted for an illegal poker ring for Mr. Rozier, who played for the Miami Heat. He was busted for insider trading. They were giving bettors information on LeBron James's injury status for Laker games and whatnot. And controversy like this is not new to the NBA. I'm dating myself, but late 70s, early 80s, the NBA had a major cocaine problem. And that was a stain on the NBA and really put it on the precipice of really folding before Bird and Magic came along, and then Jordan, and then, you know, the league that we know as is today. But the NBA really does need to take swift action, especially since you will notice that there aren't these problems in the NFL. There aren't these problems in Major League Baseball. There aren't these problems in Major League or international soccer. I actually, believe it or not, own a minor league women's soccer team. And I know that the line on my team's games aren't exactly heating up things in Vegas, but it's not something that you see in my sport or my team. And it would be devastating if that did happen. And if it did, I would take swift action to make sure that those who are doing it were punished accordingly.
Matt, there are reports, federal officials saying that this could just be the tip of the iceberg, could just be getting started in uncovering what could be an even bigger ring of gambling. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, tragically, this is a case of where there's smoke, there's fire. I just was looking up some quick stats that, you know, between now and January, Americans bet almost $100 billion on sports. And, you know, look, a lot of people love to bet on sports through the DraftKings app and other apps like, you know, and FanDuel, et cetera. We could go on and name a lot of them. What we are seeing, unfortunately, is that, you know, bettors get a little nibble of legal gambling and it quickly transitions into illegal gambling. And I think that's always been the worry about gambling in sports. I mean, look, it goes back as far as, you know, the famous Black Sox scandal in the early 20th century. They go part and parcel. The sad part is that, you know, Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, each of these gentlemen, they made over $100 million in the NBA. It's not like they it's not like they should need the money. So it's tragic. And I think you're right. Both of you are saying that everybody is now going to look at games and say, okay, what's really going on? And are the players playing straight up? I think most of them are, but it only takes one bad apple to spoil the whole barrel here. So it breaks my heart from one who is just a huge sports lover.
Indeed. Yeah, certainly a major stain. It's going to take a lot of time to repair that, to restore trust as people watch their favorite teams play. Lastly, I do want to pivot to the White House again. The president's new initiative to build a White House ballroom on the East Wing. Lee, the East Wing was built as a small guest entrance annex back in 1902, then expanded in 1942 to 2 stories, sort of being presented by the mainstream media like it was part of the original, structure. Not that, take anything away from that. The main White House is, in comparison, that I just mentioned, was completed in 1800. There have been various renovations by various presidents. Why is this getting so much attention?
Well, I think it's getting attention twofold. And you are correct. Ever since Andrew Jackson wheeled his big block of cheese into the White House, there have been renovations by various presidents on both sides of the aisle. I think it's getting it twofold. A, the fact that the president is making such a big deal out of it, and the fact that it's going to be the biggest and the largest and the gildedest ballroom of all time. Second, it's kind of a bad look to be talking about a $200 million ballroom when you're in a government shutdown and government employees are being furloughed and SNAP benefits are about to end for millions of poor families across the country. And here you are talking about a ballroom with, gold-plated faucets. For all I know, I don't know if there are actually any in there, but that's the way he's talking about it. So it really is, from a PR perception point of view, kind of read the room. You're in a government shutdown. People are suffering. Don't talk about your big ballroom and show that it's being renovated and all that, and think it's the greatest thing on the planet.
Now, Matt, for this White House renovation, President Trump is aiming for a neoclassical style to match the rest of the building. You can see, if you watch his press avails from the Oval Office, some of the touches that he's put on there with class and taste. Is the concern about history and preservation sincere, especially when just a few years ago we saw statues being torn down, including that of Abraham Lincoln in my beloved Boston?
Look, the reason why this is so strongly opposed is because Donald Trump is doing it, and anything that Donald Trump does, the Democrats are going to say orange man bad. I'll go back to as far back as Thomas Jefferson. He served 2 terms from 1801 to 1809. He built a colonnade on the White House at that time, and a Federalist newspaper, which was the opposition party, slammed it, saying it reflected Jefferson's aristocratic tendencies. So it's stupid squabbling over partisanship. This is just a big, high profile. I think that, that Donald Trump bragging about building something, Donald Trump's been bragging about building for 40 years on the East Coast. So it's not a big deal for him. It's a big deal in Washington, where they don't embrace change very easily. And especially it's a big deal for Democrats because they don't control anything. So it's, again, much to do about nothing. When it's built, both Republican and Democratic presidents will be able to take advantage of it. And I don't think faucets, no, but gold-plated toilets for sure.
Lee Neves, Matt Klink, really appreciate you both.
And Steve Lance with that interview. Coming up, the Trump administration has warned that flight disruptions would increase as the government shutdown continues. How should travelers navigate more delays and canceled flights? We hear from an expert after the break.
What if you could whiten your teeth by simply brushing your teeth? Now you can with Smile Actives, the teeth whitening breakthrough that safely gets your teeth white and keeps them white every day, just by brushing your teeth.
I never thought that whitening my teeth could be so easy. I just put the gel on the brush, the toothpaste on it, brush, and I can see my white teeth.
Simply add Smile Actives to any toothpaste, and our patented PolyClean technology activates into a powerful microfoam that penetrates into the enamel surface to safely lift and remove stains.
You need a simple way to whiten your teeth, without strips, without trays, without going to the dentist. And it was about time that a product was developed that you would be able to do that with just brushing.
And now Smile Actives is even better with new Pro Whitening Gel with 33% greater whitening power, clinically shown to whiten teeth faster, up to 8 shades. 100% of users saw whiter teeth. On food stains, coffee and wine stains, even on veneers, crowns, and dentures.
I eat the blueberries, I drink the coffee, and I know that Smile Actives will keep my teeth white every day.
If you could use something so easy like Smile Actives to take yellow teeth to white teeth, why wouldn't you?
Why spend hundreds of dollars for whitening treatments at the dentist when now you can whiten your teeth with new Smile Actives Pro Whitening Gel every time you brush your teeth? Call or go to smileactives.com and for a limited time get new Pro Whitening Gel for just $24.95. Order in the next 5 minutes and buy one get one absolutely free for just $24.95. That's 2 for 1 and save 58%. We'll even include free shipping. Get your teeth whiter guaranteed or return it within 60 days for your money back.
I smile every day now.
the difference is literally night and day.
So now I'm always smiling, always choosing, because now my teeth are much whiter.
This offer is not available in stores, so call or click now before the special buy one get one free offer goes away.
Is deep sea fish oil really healthy? Due to pollution in the oceans, most fish contain heavy metal elements and radioactive substances. That's why it's so important to choose a pure source of omega-3. Puritan Green Vegetable Omega-3 is made from purslane and perilla seeds, which are rich in nutrients and minerals. It effectively improves brain power and is beneficial to the heart's health. Puritan Green Vegetable Omega-3. Eat 2 a day and you'll feel brand new.
I debate all day. It's what I do. But there are some things that are undebatable, like your mental health. I was in a dark place when my brother passed away in a car accident. I was depressed in ways I never imagined. I reached out, and my sisters came, my pastor, my therapist. They helped me get through it. I found that the more I spoke up, the healthier my mind became. When you love your mind, you can go so much further. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Welcome back. Pressure is mounting on Congress. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program in over 25 states will stop distributing benefits on November 1st as a result of the government shutdown. Our Washington correspondent Luis Eduardo Martinez has this week's developments on Capitol Hill.
This is an extraordinarily dangerous moment. An authoritarian president proceeding to attack free speech, attack free press, weaponize the Department of Justice, and use it against those who disagree with him.
In the middle of the second longest government shutdown in U.S. history, Democratic Senator Jeff Merkley took to the Senate floor and spoke for 23 hours, delaying votes and accusing the president of being an authoritarian.
I'm not listening. I don't know what he's saying. I think it's purely performance art. He's trying to put on a show for his base back home, his political base.
Congressional Republicans gave Democrats an opportunity to support a bill to pay federal workers and active duty military personnel during the government shutdown.
Air traffic controllers, some people call the policemen of our skies, they have been showing up at work without pay. And news reports have suggested that these men and women are seeking outside employment just to keep their families afloat.
All but 3 Democratic senators voted against the bill, and congressional Democrats doubled down on their messaging that it is President Trump who is to blame for the government shutdown and that they, Democrats, are fighting for increased healthcare spending.
Donald Trump is the president. Republicans control the House and the Senate. They've made the decision to shut down the government, and they are the ones who consistently have taken adverse actions, made clear that they want to hurt the American people.
What shutting down the government has to do with this, I have no idea. I mean, why you would say to veterans now you can't get health care, why you would say to 650,000 Missourians who are about to miss food stamp payments, you can't eat. How does that help anybody? That doesn't help anybody.
Thus far, only a total of 5 Senate Democrats have shown a willingness to cross party lines and support initiatives to alleviate or end the government shutdown.
I do think in the Democrat senators' hearts, they want to vote to open the government up. They don't want to hurt the American people. But we've seen they have a radical base, a base that's out of control. And if they vote to open up the government, what's going to happen is they are going to be primaried. They are going to be attacked. Maybe their funding might dry up.
I think they're collectively at this point, I just want to get the government open at this point. It's not blaming or who's winning or who's losing, because they guarantee who is losing, and that's Americans right now.
Democratic Senator Fetterman, Cortez Matos, Angus King, Raphael Warnock, and John Ossoff have been the Democrats who have crossed party lines to either support a continuing resolution to reopen government or support a bill to pay federal workers and active duty military personnel. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Luis Eduardo Martinez, NTD News.
Thank you, Luis. And as we approach the holiday season and Congress appears at an impasse on reopening the government, you may be wondering about your travel plans. Joining us for insight and advice is Jen Ruiz, a travel blogger and author. You can find her at Jen on a Jet Plane on Instagram. Jen, welcome. Good to have you with us today. We've seen more crowds and lag times at airports in recent days and weeks. How do you suggest people manage this if they need to fly?
Sure. Well, first, you have to be prepared for delays. I don't think safety should be a concern at all because things are still operating at the level of safety that they normally would. But definitely, delays and interruption of your travel plans are something that you just have to go in expecting that it might happen, right? Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. So, if that's the case, ask yourself, is it possible to rent a car from any of the places that you're going to be traveling, from any of the connecting airports? It's good just to have that kind of alternative plan in mind if that's something that's feasible. If not, you want to make sure that you allow yourself at least a buffer day before anything concrete, like a cruise departing, let's say, in case that your flight does get delayed, there's no other flight that day. And know in general that when your flight is delayed for 3 hours or more, that is considered a significant delay where you can choose to cancel that flight and get your full money back in the amount that you paid for it. But you would have to find that alternate means of transportation, which is why I suggest that you have a game plan in mind before you even get to the airport.
Good to know to have some of those backup plans in place. What should people look for in terms of travel insurance, flight updates, and even how to get back in the air more quickly?
Always the most comprehensive travel insurance that you're going to have is cancel for any reason insurance, right? That takes any question out of the cause for the delay and just make sure that you get reimbursed regardless. So you can look into this for the plans that you're buying to see what the qualifying reasons would be. That's the fine print that you want to take advantage of and really pay attention to. From there, I recommend a site called Flight Aware because it tells you where the plane is that you are waiting on, right? So it could be possible that your plane is not on the ground, it's coming from another location, and you will know if it's even left that location to come to you. So maybe the announcement is saying your flight's going to leave in an hour, but you know that that flight hasn't even left, from across the country and it's going to take 6 hours to get there. That could be your sign to start making alternate plans before it's even formally announced the length of the delay fully. And then from there, I really think it's just a matter of staying aware, being kind. Sometimes airlines will have policies where they're able to reschedule you on a different airline if their airline doesn't have a route going there, or at least on a partner airline. And that's something that's going to vary from depending on the provider and who you're flying with. So you want to be as nice as possible and know the information yourself, which you can get directly from the DOT.
Yes, keeping our cool at the airport has many benefits for yourself and for others, as I'm sure it does pile on the tensions naturally. But we're at day 27 of the government shutdown. The longest has been 34 days. We're quickly approaching that, of course. If this does wrap up, though, by around that time frame, say by the end of this month, do you expect any lingering effects of the shutdown to go into and impact Thanksgiving and Christmas?
Thanksgiving is already the hardest time to travel because there's so many people on the road. There's so many people flying. Lines to get in through TSA are extensive. So I already think Thanksgiving travel is challenging, even without the possible lingering effects of airline traffic controllers or other personnel that have had to take on employment elsewhere, being short staffed or any of those possible implications. So if that's the case, something that you can do if you're somebody who's concerned is sign up for as many programs as possible, right? Clear has a free trial. So if you know that you're going to be traveling during this time and you're going through an airport that has Clear, that can expedite your time going through a line. It can possibly save you a few hours depending on how crowded the airport is on the day that you're choosing to travel. So yes, the short answer, it could be impacted, but there are still things that you can do to be prepared as a traveler and have a slight advantage.
Brilliant. And lastly, do you have any advice for those still needing to make travel plans for Thanksgiving, whether they're driving, flying, or staying local?
Sure. I think if anything, you should try to stay somewhere domestic. Like I said, having that backup of just being able to drive can help. If you do absolutely have to go somewhere overseas, try to see if you can plan to go on a nonstop flight. Anything with a connection could potentially disrupt your plans if you miss that connection and, a different airport has problems, even if your local airport doesn't. So nonstop flights and the first flight of the day, usually it's the least likely to be delayed because the plane is already there there on the ground. We mentioned you don't have to wait for it to come from somewhere else. So while it's not pleasant to have to wake up early, particularly during the holidays when you have your days off, it can pay off in that you get to your destination stress-free.
Well, I certainly wish you a happy holiday season. Jen Ruiz, thank you for your advice in helping everybody out there have the best of the travel that they can during the season. Jen on a jet plane, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And still to come, can we resistance train our brains the way we train our bodies to boost performance and stay healthier longer? Vital Signs Brendon Fallon shares insights from a professor of medicine and brain health expert after this.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back in stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
I go by Jackie. I'm 44 years old. I had 3 kids at the time and single mother. I was working 60 hours a week, still couldn't pay the bills, skip meals so that they could eat. It's been hard because one thing falls into place, 10 things fall out of place. I just can't do this alone and make it work.
1 in 5 children face hunger in America, and food costs are rising. But everyone needs nourishing food to thrive, and they can when we work together so our neighbors can feed their families. Call or go online right now to join Feeding America with your gift of just $19 a month, only 63 cents a day. Together, thanks to a nationwide network of food banks, dedicated volunteers, and the monthly support of people like you, we can fill plates with nutritious food for families across America.
One day my mother came over to my house and said, "There's a meeting at the pantry." I said, "Okay," and I went. There were some ladies in there. They were from the food bank. They asked several questions. Some of those were about me and my story, but it helped me to open up a little bit.
We're getting closer to the day when no one in America faces hunger, but we can't do it without you. Call or go online now. Visit helpfeedingamerica.org and give $19 a month, just 63 cents a day. 98% of donations go directly to help millions of people facing hunger, from coast to coast and in your own community. And when you give by credit card, we'll send you this exclusive canvas grocery bag to show you are a part of a movement of supporters working together to help end hunger.
I have people that I can trust. I have hope.
Please call now or make your monthly donation at helpfeedingamerica.org, and your gift can double in impact.
Welcome back to NTD. I'm joined in studio now by NTD health correspondent and host of Vital Signs, Brendon Fallon. Vital Signs offers natural and nutritional ways of optimizing our health. Brendon, it's nice to see you.
Great to see you, Steph.
Gosh, what do you have for us today?
Today, I want to talk about the topic of, like, brain health is a big thing nowadays. We see a lot of YouTubers and everything talking about how we can enhance brain health. It's not surprising because we have an escalating rate of Alzheimer's disease.
Oh.
So there's a study that always kind of really fascinated me. It's called the Nun Study. This goes back to the 90s. And they looked at 325 nuns from the Sisterhood of the Notre Dame Sisterhood in America. And they found some very interesting findings. One was that the nuns who spoke 4 or more languages, they developed dementia 6% of the time, compared to the nuns who only spoke 1 language, who developed it 30% of the time. So this idea, that the way we engage our brains throughout our lives has an impact on how the brain ages in a healthy direction or not. I wanted to dig into this, so I found Dr. Daniel Monti, the perfect person to ask about this. He's an integrative medicine doctor. He's also he founded the Integrative Medicine and Nutritional Science Department at Thomas Jefferson University. So he's right there in the middle of looking at medicine and these holistic things like nutritional science and even traditional Chinese medicine to find answers to diseases. So I wanted to ask him about this nun study and what he thought about it.
Brilliant. Let's hear what he had to say.
I think that when people have more educational background, they tend to stay engaged with things that require different parts of activation of the brain. Now, it isn't necessarily a function of education if it's something that you just think about. Because, I have the tale of two grandmothers. I told you about the one. I had another grandmother who had a very different trajectory. She's somebody that had no education. She was a farmer and raised on a farm, only went to elementary school and then worked on the family farm. But she loved working in her garden until her 90s. It gave her joy. She was engaged in doing something. She, in the winter months, loved to do big jigsaw puzzles. Did them from as early as I could remember. She'd get me to do puzzles with her when I was a little kid. She liked doing crossword puzzles. She was just somebody who liked to do those things, and she somehow knew it was important to keep doing them. She would say things to me, even when I was too young to understand it. Well, I've got to keep my brain engaged. I don't want to lose my brain.
It's like an instinct.
Yeah, she had a good instinct about that, and it turns out she's correct. The most recent data, a study, big prospective study that just came out in the last year, showed that when people engage proactively in brain games, so to speak, computer type games, that it has a very protective effect against dementia. People who did those things had a 20% lower incidence rate of dementia.
Fascinating. So, this actually plugs nicely into some concerns I've been reading about recently in terms of people using AI more and more and depending on it, and that causing them to have less brain engagement in their day-to-day life. And, there are concerns about where that might end up, say, in old age.
Sure. Yeah, and I speak to Dr. Monti about 9 different kind of strategies around like resistance training for the brain in this interview. One of the ones we talk about is screen time, like how this has a negative effect on the brain. And I think it kind of comes down to what kind of technology we're talking about using, because some of these apps, studies have shown them to be effective and to actually be good for the way the brain ages and enhancing brain capacity.
Yeah, and as the doctor mentioned, there are some, there's evidence of that too, as you mentioned, with brain training programs. So we're also, I know you're also looking at brain health from another point of view, from the physical resistance training that you can do. What have you found there?
That's right. And this is something I've seen Dr. Monti talk about quite a bit, so I wanted to ask him about it. And it's also because he's a psychiatrist as well as an integrative medicine doctor. And he talks often about the benefit of exercise to mental health. And it's been shown very widely how much exercise can be a barrier against developing mental health problems, anxiety, depression. And so I wanted to ask him why is this the case? Why is it also a way to prevent, a way to support healthier brain aging, how this works, and for people out there, particularly older people who want to get into this, perhaps they haven't done it most of their lives, how they might approach this in a safe way.
All right.
It is one of the most protective things we can do. We have to think about activity level, exercise, wherever you are now, do more and do as much as you can for as long as you can, because it is one of the most predictive things for a healthier, longer life, including your cognitive life. The blood flow to the brain is completely affected by exercise. The vascular tone that you have, the blood vessels, is affected by exercise. These are all things critical to your brain health.
And given this is such a big factor, I can see it might be daunting to some people as they're aging. They might be concerned about doing damage to themselves. Do you have some general advice for someone as they're getting older, how they'd approach that, if they haven't done a lot throughout their lives?
Doing anything is better than doing nothing. So there's been studies to show that even walking a mile every day makes a big difference. There's a lot of people who the most walking they do is from their bedroom to the living room and then back to their bedroom. And they're not getting much other activity, especially once they get into those older years. But for some people, a walk might be enough. Having an exercise equipment in the house that is something that they can maneuver and get on easily, and those kinds of things might be the answer. Going to classes where at senior centers, community centers, where you can be with other older people and you're moving around, doing everything from light exercise to Tai Chi.
Love that this focuses on folks who may already be approaching their old age or in old age and may not have had this kind of awareness already and have that lifestyle. Certainly, I think if you're not very mobile, then getting out there and increasing your mobility can be both a brain challenge and a physical challenge, because you tend to accept the limits that you let yourself stay within. So it can be kind of scary to expand. But at the same time, as long as you do it bit by bit, my sense is, you can get benefits in lots of ways.
Yeah, I think so. It's not something you want to, I think we've probably all had the experience of pushing it a little bit too hard, in physical training and trying to be heroes. So certainly not something you want to do as you're getting older and
not to an extreme. Just,
yeah,
stay safe, but have a go at it. It sounds like, these are great things to take note of for everybody at any age.
Definitely. And getting out there and the social interaction aspect of it, as Dr. Monty just mentioned there, like getting out and having that's such a pivotal thing. I think, just the engagement, and this is what people as they're getting older can often start to miss. And I think that's such a fundamental thing, the social interaction.
Even with just a walk down the street and one language, you can have quite a good time.
Sure.
All right, thank you so much, Brendon Fallon.
Thank you, Steph.
Thank you. And to see that full Vital Signs interview with Dr. Monty, just go to your web browser and enter ept.ms/brain health. Coming up, President Trump adding a 10% tariff on Canada. That's following Ontario's use of quotes from President Reagan to slam U.S. tariffs. Stay with us and we'll bring you more news right after this.
Discover the ancient secret to vitality and longevity with Puretane Black Ginseng. Crafted from premium 6-year-old Korean ginseng, each root is carefully nurtured for over 2,260 days, undergoing a traditional 9-round handcrafted process of steaming and drying to unlock full potency and absorption. Experience pure, natural energy with Puretane Black Ginseng. Order now at puretane.com.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
So at the age of 5, I was sexually molested. I had my first child at the age of 15 and became homeless at the age of 16. The scariest part about not having a place to live was having a child and not having a place to live, and not knowing where our meal was going to come from and where we're going to sleep. To be homeless as a teen, I didn't ask for that.
No young person should ever have to worry about having a safe place to sleep at night, or a warm meal to eat, or whether anyone cares about them. 1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year, and that's unacceptable. But the good news is there is an organization making a big difference, Covenant House.
Call or go online now. For a gift of only $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you can provide hot meals, safe shelter, medical care, and love to more than 2,000 young people who sleep at a Covenant House every night.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis.
It was pretty tough. But Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
Call or go online right now to safeplacetosleep.org with your gift of just $19 a month. With your monthly donation, you'll receive this soft, comforting blanket as a reminder of the warmth and safety your gift will provide a young person tonight.
I have no words to express how Covenant House changed my life. They gave me the love that I needed. They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding.
Your $19 monthly gift is urgently needed to reach other young people who are facing unimaginable situations. Call or go online to safeplacetosleep.org.
Your support makes the work of Covenant House possible. Thank you for caring.
Welcome to NTD News Today. I'm Stephanie Cox. Here are today's top stories. President Trump begins his high-stakes Asia trip by brokering a peace deal in Malaysia and signs a flurry of trade deals after issuing a warning to Hamas. Clashes broke out overnight outside Portland's ICE facility. Meanwhile, National Guard deployment is on hold for now as the courts weigh a decision. Jason Blair reports from the scene. President Trump adding a 10% tariff on Canada. That's following Ontario's use of quotes from President Reagan to slam U.S. tariffs.
This is NTD News Today, live from our global headquarters in New York City.
President Trump, on the first leg of his high-stakes Asia trip, oversees a peace agreement between Cambodia and Thailand. And in Malaysia's capital, just days before his expected meeting with CCP leader Xi Jinping, the president strikes two more rare earth deals, this time with South Asian countries. NTD's Washington correspondent Mario Tsu has more from Kuala Lumpur.
This is a momentous day for all of the people of Southeast Asia as we sign a historic agreement to end the military conflict between Cambodia and Thailand.
President Trump, a little less than 2 weeks after signing that Gaza ceasefire deal in Egypt alongside other Middle East leaders, is now here in Kuala Lumpur, the capital of Malaysia, where he's signing another peace agreement, this time between Cambodia and Thailand.
I have nominated President Donald J. Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize.
The joint peace declaration calls for Thailand to release 18 Cambodian prisoners of war and for both sides to agree to removing heavy weapons from the border area. It also calls for observers from South Asian countries, including Malaysia, to ensure that the peace prevails.
The world needs leaders who promote peace strongly. To achieve that, you have to break some rules, as you did today. When President arrived, he asked me to join him in the car. I said that's against the security and protocol rules. And he was delighted to break the rules, and it was a nice ride.
And before inviting Prime Minister Anwar into the Beast, President Trump welcomes the Emir of Qatar onto Air Force One during a refuel in Doha.
I don't know what's more important, being beloved or respected. Both. You have a preference? Because you have both. You're one of the few.
Celebrating their partnership in advancing Middle East peace while threatening Hamas to return the bodies of the deceased hostages.
Hamas will be not hard to take care of. It will be very quickly.
Arriving in Kuala Lumpur, a fighter jet welcomes Air Force One into Malaysian airspace, and President Trump is greeted by the Prime Minister and local officials. Meanwhile, the president is signing a flurry of deals on trade and critical minerals with Thailand, Cambodia, and Malaysia.
Look at his signature. How interesting is that? Right? It's very different.
It's very good, very artistic.
Tariffs will stay at 19% for most imports from these three South Asian countries, but under these agreements, Thailand and Malaysia will play a bigger role in the U.S.'s critical mineral supply amid China tightening its rare earth exports.
Now, President Trump is set to depart Malaysia for Japan Monday morning, where he's expected to meet with the new Japanese Prime Minister and Japan's Emperor. And on Thursday, President Trump is set to have a meeting with CCP leader Xi Jinping on the sidelines of APEC in South Korea. Reporting from Kuala Lumpur, Mari Otsu, NTD News.
Thanks to Mari for that report. Ahead of President Trump's visit, U.S. and Chinese negotiators spent 2 days in Malaysia and announced a framework deal, which Beijing calls a basic consensus. Chinese negotiator Li Qinggang said the U.S. was tough while China stood firm. They discussed fentanyl, export controls, trade, and maritime logistics. The potential 100% tariff on China is now off the table, according to U.S. Treasury Secretary. The current tariff truce expires on November 10th, and analysts expect another extension. Before his meeting with Xi Jinping on October 30th, Trump struck a flurry of trade deals to secure critical minerals and markets for U.S. agricultural goods. Earlier this month, Beijing restricted mineral exports and cut soybean purchases. Trump also offered tariff exemptions to Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Malaysia as part of the agreements.
My message to the nations of Southeast Asia is that the United States is with you 100%, and we intend to be a strong partner and friend for many generations to come.
Responding to concerns that the U.S. might trade its support for Taiwan for a deal with China, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Saturday that the U.S. will not abandon its long-standing commitment to Taiwan. And President Trump is set to meet Japan's new Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi, on Tuesday, October 28th. The two allies are expected to sign a major deal on next-generation technologies. The goal is to help emerging nations break free from China's grip on artificial intelligence. According to Nikkei Asia, the agreement will cover AI, 6G, quantum computing, nuclear fusion, space exploration, and medical and biotech supply chains. It will also promote exports of key AI infrastructure, including data centers and supercomputers, as both Washington and Tokyo grow more concerned about the Global South's reliance on Chinese AI. During President Trump's first term, the State Department launched the Clean Network Initiative aimed at preventing Chinese regime from accessing sensitive data. Its main goal was to keep Huawei's 5G technology out of U.S. and allied networks. And back here in the U.S., protests continue outside the ICE facility in Portland, Oregon. Multiple clashes broke out Friday night as the courts deliberate over a National Guard deployment order. NTD's Jason Blair brings us updates from Portland.
So the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals just recently paused an order that did allow for the National Guard to be deployed here in Portland. And the judge, Sydney Thomas, says that she needs a little extra time, but she does plan to make a decision on Monday. So the earliest we could see the National Guard here in Portland is going to be on Tuesday night. However, we will have confirmation on Monday about that. And the main focus for the White House's decision to bring the National Guard here is the Portland ICE facility, where protests have been going on since June, pretty much on a daily basis. Here are some highlights from recent protests in front of the building. Despite some recent wet weather, protesters still have been gathering outside of the ICE facility in Portland, Oregon. When cars need to drive out of the building, federal agents exit to move protesters back and make room for the vehicles. Friday night saw a flurry of activity. There was also a large presence of ICE supporters acting as counter-protesters. There were at least 2 physical fights between protesters and ICE supporters. One involved 2 females around 9 p.m. in the night, and one was later in the night involving numerous people directly outside of the ICE facility. It ended after federal agents fired pepper balls from the roof, dispersing the brawl. There were also a few lighter physical altercations, some people saying that they had been pepper sprayed. And there were plenty of verbal standoffs all night, one even involving a clown. The Portland police were seen in the area briefly a few times throughout the night, investigating and doing a little crowd control. However, they confirmed that no arrests were made. So with so much going on between the protesters and counter-protesters, the agents at one point actually had an easier time moving cars in and out because people were kind of scattered around the area and still, instead of being focused directly in front of the building, which has been the case most of the time.
Jason Blair with that report. Following President Trump's announcement yesterday that he's adding a 10% tariff on Canadian goods, following that dispute over the representation of President Reagan's remarks on tariffs in an Ontario ad, we're joined by economist and Stockton University finance professor Michael Busler. Good to have you with us today, Michael. First of all, your reaction to the latest Trump administration's move regarding Canada.
Well, the real reaction is, why did the Premier of Ottawa run those ads? Did he expect the people to try to get the people's opinion changed against Trump? And how did he expect Trump to respond to that? And lastly, he only ran Ontario only ran part of what President Reagan said. If you listen to the whole thing, he would say that there are times when tariffs are appropriate. Listen, President Trump, like Reagan, is a free market economist. They'd rather have no tariffs on anything. But the problem is, for decades, the U.S. has charged virtually every country a minimal 2.5% tariff, and they charged us 20, 30, 40, and India, in some cases, 100% tariff. Trump said this isn't going to happen anymore. Free trade works when it's fair, when both sides either have no tariffs or have minimal tariffs. And now President Trump is trying to even this up, and he's doing a very good job.
You do wonder what Ontario, whoever made that ad and okayed it, of course, as well, what was going through their mind and how they thought Trump would respond. But here we have the evidence. How might the extra tariff impact everyday purchases in the U.S.?
It will hurt Canada more than it'll hurt the U.S. One thing that we've seen by recent inflation reports, that the tariffs had minimal or almost no effect overall on consumer prices. The heavy tariffs that were placed on China, most of those tariffs were absorbed by the Chinese and very little price increase. So the 10% tariff is going to hurt Canada further, and they're already being hurt. The reason they called off negotiations, not just for what the Premier of Ottawa did, but Canada has been very difficult to deal with. We're trying to get to a good trade agreement, and Canada keeps saying, well, I want to protect my dairy farmers, for instance. So all the cheese that they make in Wisconsin and you want to sell in Canada, we'll let you sell so much, and then we're going to put a quota so you can't sell any more than that. Well, that's not how free trade works. The U.S. is getting so frustrated by this that I think the action by Ontario was really just the last straw. And finally, the Trump administration said, listen, we're going to break off negotiations until you get serious about this.
I mean, how much of an impact do you think it will have on the near to long-term negotiations between Canada and the U.S.?
I think long-term, it probably will have little impact. The Canadian government needs U.S. What the U.S. buys from them to keep their economy going. I think up to 18% of their output is sold in the U.S. So they can't afford to have these high tariffs placed on there, because it will either cut down on the profits they make, or it will cut down on how much they sell. The bottom line, as it is with virtually every other country, they need us more than the U.S. needs them. And they've got to come to the table and negotiate with Trump on a fair basis, keeping in mind we all like to have free trade, but there are certain instances where we can't have that. What are some of those? The U.S. says some vital products like steel, aluminum, copper, medical supplies, we want those production of those brought back to the U.S. So we're going to put some high tariffs on those to keep the foreign products out. Other than that, we'd like to have as close to free trade as possible. And each agreement that Trump has signed, the countries say, well, there's certain things I want to protect. Trump usually negotiates that because he says, look, there's a few things we want to protect here in the U.S. too. The goal is to get to real free and fair trade with everyone.
Well, it's great to have your insights on this continually developing front. Michael Busler, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Always my pleasure.
And coming up, federal workers in essential areas from national defense to Social Security must continue working without pay amid government shutdown. Details on Senator Ron Johnson's bill to change that after the break.
Shop the Design Studio by Mathis Home for Black Friday savings on luxury designer furniture. Get factory authorized savings on all the top brands with heirloom quality pieces for every room in your house. Choose from our incredible in-stock selection or let our complimentary design staff help you create a custom look to match your own personal style for less than you ever imagined. Get unmatched luxury at the lowest prices of the year through Black Friday weekend at the Design Studio by Mathis Home.
Say goodbye to harsh, bitter coffee and hello to a delicious, smooth brew. With specialty quality beans, expertly roasted in-house, you'll taste the difference with every sip. Fermented with a blend of 50 enzymes, Days Coffee delivers a rich brew like no other. Made with the highest grade specialty beans available, you're sure to taste the difference. Elevate your morning with Days Enzyme Fermented Coffee.
Kids love it. Parents trust it. Obviously. Explore GJW Plus Kids Series and Gone Jiong Campus courses led by expert educators. This is spectacular. Children will learn values like respect, responsibility, and knowledge in language, science, and more. Wow. All while having fun. Perfect. Subscribe today at GJW Plus Kids, where learning meets fun.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bedsheets only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings. Regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
Everybody in my house knows how to ride a bike except me. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike and you didn't? I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
Welcome back. Air traffic controllers are still going to work without pay, and they aren't the only ones. From national defense to Social Security, federal employees in key fields are expected to work without pay during a shutdown. NTD Steve Lance spoke to Senator Ron Johnson about his bill to change that.
Senator Ron Johnson, thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having me on.
It's great to have you with us, Senator. So with the government shutdown today reaching 22 days, this is the second longest in history, you've now introduced what's called the Shutdown Fairness Act. This is to pay some federal workers. Talk to us about what this bill will entail.
Well, the first bill I introduced and we voted on was the Eliminate Shutdown Act, which we should have passed. We wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. We would never have to have this conversation in the future. Unfortunately, every Democrat voted against that. So we're in the shutdown. The ball's in their court. We will vote for the 12th time to reopen government by voting on the House clean continuing resolution, something Democrats voted for 13 times under Biden. It said Biden's spending levels. I don't know what their beef is. Well, I know what they're trying to do, though. So all this does is, as long as we're forcing federal employees to work, the essential, we call them accepted, but these are the essential workers involved in national defense, law enforcement, writing Social Security checks, air traffic control. As long as we're forcing them to work, pay them. They get paid anyway. We have a law that says when this all ends with an appropriation, everybody, working or furloughed employees, they all get back pay. So pay them while they're working. Don't force. I'm reading articles about TSA agents their wives having to go to food banks, or air traffic controllers having to drive DoorDash to pay for their child's tuition. This is beyond gross. It is just unconscionable that we would allow this to happen. So tomorrow, Democrats have an opportunity, if they're not going to open up government with the 12th vote on the CR this afternoon, to at least pay people we're forcing to work. I mean, it's so common sense. It's just so fair. I'm being told they're going to block it.
I mean, as you mentioned, real pain is starting to actually settle in for a lot of federal workers who are not going to be paid. We saw the reallocation of funds for our military members. Where might the money for the rest of the workers come from?
Again, there's going to be limited pots of money. Donald Trump is not a king. He has certain reapportionment authority. He's trying to use that. I mean, one difference between this shutdown versus previous shutdowns where we've had a Democrat president, Democrat presidents always try to make shutdowns as painful as possible because the legacy media is blaming Republicans. In this case, it's clearly the Democrats' fault, but President Trump is trying to make this shutdown as painless as possible for everybody involved. Just night and day difference in terms of the way this thing's being managed, but they're trying to find pots of money. They're trying to pay these essential workers. The way to do it is just vote for the Shutdown Fairness Act tomorrow.
Senator, you mentioned that Democrats previously voted on this exact same CR 13 times at Biden-era spending levels. Help us understand that, unpack that for us, and what would you say to the Democrats that are saying that Republicans aren't coming to the table?
Well, first of all, if you really want to enter a negotiation, you load your requirement up with so many different items, and the other side comes with all kinds of items. You're ready to bargain them away. We bargained ours all away. It's no continuing resolution is exactly the same, but this is a clean continuing resolution. It doesn't have any policy provisions. It doesn't have any poison pills in it. It's just a clean continuing resolution at President Biden's spending levels. These are spending levels that Democrats voted for. So again, we came to the negotiating table with nothing really more to negotiate. We're just going to open up government. Democrats came saying, oh, well, we'll give you 4 weeks of continuing operation. We're just asking for $1.5 trillion worth of spending. It's so unreasonable. There's no place to compromise. We've done all the compromising up front. We came with our bottom line offer, which is eminently reasonable. It's the type of continuing resolution they've always demanded, which we, in the end, always give them. We started out with that.
Lastly, Democratic Senator John Fetterman, your colleague on the Democratic side of the Senate, is now saying that Republicans should break the filibuster in order to reopen the government. Is this something that Senate Republicans are considering?
We certainly don't want to do that. We actually respect the tradition of respecting the minority rights of the Senate. It's quite honestly, it's prevented a lot of really bad legislation from being passed by just a mere majority. So, we actually think that's a good thing for our democracy, make it a little bit more difficult to pass a lot of these laws that do more harm than good. So no, we certainly don't want to be suckered into doing what they've always wanted to do. I mean, they want to get rid of the filibuster because they want to turn this into a socialist nation as soon as they get the power to do so.
Slippery slope, certainly. Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, really appreciate you joining us.
Have a good day.
Coming up, American consumers lost more than $12.5 billion to scams in 2024. NTD spoke to viral YouTubers who confront real-life scammers across the globe. That and more after this break.
I'm Jonathan Lawson. If you're 50 to 85, I have an important message about security. Write down the number on your screen so you can call when I finish. The lock I want to talk to you about isn't the one on your door. This is a lock for your life insurance, a rate lock that guarantees that once you're insured, your rate can never go up at any time for any reason. But be careful. Many policies you see do not have one. But you can get a lifetime rate lock from Colonial Penn. Call this number to learn more. This plan was designed with a rate lock for people on a fixed income who want life insurance that fits their budget and is simple to get. Coverage options start at $9.95 a month, less than 35 cents a day. Act now, and your rate will be locked in for life. It will never increase, guaranteed. This is lifelong coverage that can never be canceled as long as you pay your premiums, guaranteed. And your acceptance is guaranteed, with no health questions. You cannot be turned down because of your health. Call for your information kit and read about this rate lock for yourself. You'll also get a free beneficiary planner. Both are free with no obligation. Don't miss out. Call for information, then decide. Read about the 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. Don't wait. Call this number now.
Call now and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. Use this valuable guide to record important information and your final wishes, and it's yours free just for calling. So don't wait. Call 1-800-357-4821 for your free information. That's 1-800-357-4821. There's no risk or obligation. That number again is 1-800-357-4821. That's 1-800-357-4821. 1-800-357-4821. Call now.
Being a cowboy, I don't know anything different from when I was 3 or 4 years old. I did tough things. I thought everybody needed to do tough things, and if you didn't, I didn't have time for it. I had a very successful career at a very young age, and life was fast. I was preparing physically. I wasn't doing anything mentally on the inside. And then I got hurt. I wanted to be better as a person, and I really dug into mental health. I start my day with 20-minute workouts. I live life 8 seconds at a time. Horses are so therapeutic. They know what you're feeling. When you're nervous, they're nervous. You won't say it back, but we're pals. I take a lot of responsibility in taking care of my kids, my family, being there for them. You're gonna have tough days. Everybody does. Find a place to stop and just breathe. Love your mind.
Welcome back. American consumers lost more than $12.5 billion to scams in 2024, and the trend keeps going up. Carrie Dunst and I sat down with Ashton Bingham and Art Kulik for insight on how to confront scammers. They're viral YouTubers who expose real-life scammers around the world. Check it out.
Gentlemen, welcome and congrats on your success on YouTube. You have over 1 million subscribers, over 100 million views, and we definitely want to get your advice for our audience on how they can avoid scams. But first, I just want to get a little bit of the background on how you guys fell into this. You know, it's just blown up, really. It's, you know, over the last 10 years, people are just obsessed with, you know, justice and seeing, you know, scammers kind of get it. So I'd love to learn more about how it all came.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
thank you. This is beautiful.
Pleasure to be here. Yes, thank you.
Oh boy,
you know, we're two very opposite people. Came from different parts of the globe, but we shared a lot of the same ambitions, same dreams. We both moved to LA right around the same time to be content creators, actors. We wanted to entertain people. We had big dreams and ambitions to do things on our own terms and not fit into a pigeonhole box of what Hollywood might typically offer. You know. But you know, we had been partnered up and working on a lot of things, but it wasn't until 2016, about 5-6 years after we met, that we kind of made an accidental viral video messing with an IRS scammer on the phone. I took this call and I was just being goofy, and I just thought it'd be a funny video for my friends on Facebook, but it blew up. It got like hundreds of millions of views. Wow. And it kind of gifted us this vehicle that we had been looking for and searching for, which was a place for us to just be us and entertain people as a duo. And also matching with this much needed thing of scam awareness, and something that was only going to get worse over time and only will continue to. So it's kind of the perfect marriage.
I think like we got to the point, like, you know, when you write the scripts and you're in filmmaking business and content creation, go to the studio, you try to convince executives of the studios like this script is going to be successful. And after one of those meetings, we got home, I was like, Ash, let's go on YouTube. You know what? Let's be us. Let's create, and just like we don't have to waiting for approvals. And then accidental viral video happened, and we're like, okay, let's learn what's happening. Why are we paying taxes with gift cards scratching? You know, like what's going on? And when we dived in this niche, we're like, oh wow, it has to be awareness because nobody talks about it. And that was in 2016, 2017, and still took us for so long pitching, and thanks to Fox, who picked up this amazing scam getting even TV show, right? And now we can educate Americans globally, and you know, bringing those red flags how not to get scammed.
That's it, and people really want to know, as it's been made clear over your career, and especially on this. But what I love about it is that you mix, you know, your great personalities, all your energy, such good fun, the sense of justice as well, but a whole lot of education at the same time. You're really helping people. So if we could dig into, you know, what you think makes this work even more.
Absolutely. I think we got lightning in a bottle, to be honest. We got very lucky, very blessed. Also, we built up a following of people online that watched and related to our content in some way all the way back in 2016. And you know, we just stuck with it, and without we call them our squad, we wouldn't be here right now. I think we got lightning in a bottle in the sense that I think our different upbringings, our different backgrounds, our different literally everything is different about the two of us, but it works in a way, kind of like an odd couple kind of dynamic.
Great.
We wanted to do good things by scam awareness and stuff, but you know, you have to entertain to get people to watch long term and give them some kind of benefit other than just reading them stats off a piece of paper.
Yeah,
and
it
works.
It can get boring, right? So we always bring personalities, and like you said, we're here to entertain, but also educate. And it's such a big tragedy that it's a pandemic. It's a cyber pandemic that's happening. Everybody shop online, everybody on Amazon, everybody's getting like clicking links and paying things. And it's just getting out of control. So that's why it's a perfect mix of education, entertainment, and public service.
Now, if you think about somebody who becomes an expert in something, you guys have focused for 10 years on this topic. I would say you guys have PhDs in scam awareness. So we're hoping now you could give some advice to our audience on what you've seen and some things that they can do to keep themselves and their families safe. Let's start with holiday scams.
Yeah.
Oh, holidays coming.
I mean, the minutia of any scam will change over time. The tactics will change over time. But one thing remains the same, no matter what type of scam it is scammers will be successful based on fear or hopes. And if it's a great scam, it'll be both. So, you know, holiday scams, what are your fears? What are your hopes? Well, I can't, you know, either I can't pay my bills or I can't provide gifts for my family or whatever it is. So it all comes down to urgency, being pressured into something, being rushed into making decisions and not thinking. So I guess when it comes to holiday scams, look extra careful for too good to be true deals online, shopping, spelling things wrong online, making, you know, oh my gosh, a hope is that, hey, I can provide all these gifts at a crazy huge discount. Let me just do it quickly before I miss out. Oh, looks like I got phishing scammed and they have all my information and I paid for this item and I'm never going to receive it. So
you will get a lot of emails that, hey, did you approve this charge? Did you buy this? And people like, oh wow, it came from Amazon, and no, I did not buy this washer and dryer. And there is always a number to call, and that's a big red flag. If somebody gonna send you email or text message, link included or number to call, that's gonna be international call centers that targeting you, right? It's all about quantity, not about quality. They're gonna send hundreds of millions of those fishy emails, especially during the holidays, and people like, okay, I didn't buy this, I didn't purchase, you call it, and that's how you're gonna get scammed.
Nothing like in any way like the Christmas spirit.
Right, right, exactly.
They're the Grinch.
Yeah, they're the Grinch. Yeah, they're working hard, especially during holidays. 100%.
Yeah, but it does show up in lots of different formats, and
Right.
you've mentioned a lot of these are on the internet. I myself was almost scammed this week with a phone plus internet scam. I was trying to buy a flight. Of course, there's a lot of time pressure there. You're hoping to get a good price, as you know, Christmas is coming up pretty soon. Luckily, I averted it, but a lot of people won't know what to specifically recognize in phone and internet scams. If there's more tips you have there.
Yes.
Yeah, phone and internet. I mean, that's really the root of almost all scams right now, especially online. And with AI going the way it's going, it's not going to get any easier for people to spot this stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. If anyone is reaching out to you about something, you already need to have your guard up. Just because they say they're from Amazon, just because they say they're from, Spectrum phone or whatever, doesn't mean that they are. Don't just give them information because they're calling you and asking you for it. If anything, you need to go to the website if you have a question about your account or something, go to their website and contact their customer service directly. With call spoofing and AI voice cloning, you really will never even know if you're even talking to your own mother on the phone, let alone Spectrum. So,
That's why even, again, you get these text messages, you get those emails. You misspell Delta with one little word, and it's gonna bring you immediately to a trap. So that's why go to original websites, right? To Amazon, to Deltas, or whatever you're doing. Like, don't trust those emails and especially text messages.
That's so true. And I will say one thing, I was surprised because the fraudulent website was linked, and I came to it through a legitimate one, which is a flight aggregator site that is commonly known, everybody uses. So you've still even got to be pretty aware when you think you're following a legitimate
you can't even
path.
Google customer support numbers anymore.
No.
That used to be somewhat reliable, but now scammers are actually purchasing ads. So if you Google, Delta customer service, the first 3 results are sponsored ads, and there's no way to tell if it's really Delta paying for those ads or if it's a scammer impersonating a travel agency. You call them, you think you're talking to Delta, and they'll take you for everything.
It's an investment. Being in this business for so long and talking to a lot of scammers who quit scamming and they became good people, so they will tell us, intel, educate like what's happening, and they spending a lot of money. Like, as a matter of fact, some mafia internationally will send their own people, so they put there in cell phone companies, so they can get data on us. And it's a lot of stuff going on, so you cannot trust. When you Google things, same stuff. You can buy reviews, and you think like, yeah, it's such a great deal for holidays. I can buy it, and let me get reviews. If you see 5-star reviews, don't buy it. It's like most likely bots, and most likely it's fake.
So as we start to wind down, one thing that kind of plays on that hope and fear thing are romance scams. Maybe you could share an anecdote or two as we finish up.
We just came back from Nigeria, actually.
Yeah, we have a couple episodes that kind of center around this on the show. It's probably the most vicious scam that there is. They're targeting people not just for their money. You're stealing their time. They're stealing their emotions. They're stealing, sometimes robbing them of their family. These scammers are professional manipulators. They're so good at isolating the victim from the rest of their life. And we've seen the worst of the worst, all the way up until people sometimes losing their lives over this kind of thing. It's heartbreaking, but at the end of the day, if you think you're dating somebody, there's nothing wrong with online dating. In fact, both of us met our spouses online. There's nothing wrong with that. But if the person refuses to video chat you, if they refuse to identify themselves, or if you've been talking to them for any length of time and they're not providing any proof of their actual physical existence to you face to face, huge red flag.
We had cases that victim will be in love with a person that doesn't exist, right? So there is a personality. And again, African people, we went to Africa, we went to Nigeria. Every single scam originates somewhere. When we're talking about pop-up, tech support, Microsoft, all this stuff, it's coming from India, right? We went to India, almost got killed over there because what we did. We went to Nigeria because it's a dominating romance scam. They charming, a lot of people looking for a partner, right? We had case, lady was dating a guy, a boyfriend, almost 10 years. Never FaceTime each other, it's only phone calls and text messages.
But she'd send her social security check to him every month for 10 years.
Yeah. Ashton Bingham, Art Kulik, we could speak to you for hours. There's so much interesting education and humor. It's all rolled up into one. Follow them on YouTube, watch the new show on Fox Nation. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us. Stay alert.
Yeah.
That's it.
And we do have to wrap up our show now, but stay tuned for NTD News Today, coming up with Alice at 10 very shortly.
And coming up, as the weather turns chilly, what better way to shake off the cold than with a warm bowl of pumpkin soup? Chef Thierry Mezqua shares his recipe after the break.
As we naturally age, many people are getting zero amount of this incredible and unique substance. That's when we start seeing an impact in our joints, skin, nails, and even our digestion.
People ask me, Dr. X, what is the #1 supplement I should be taking? My answer is multi-collagen protein.
People's reactions to me, people were like, what are you doing? What is going on? You look amazing. You have a glow about you.
What makes Ancient Nutrition Multi-Collagen stand out from other brands? 10 types of collagen. It's grass-fed, pasture-raised with vitamin C and probiotics. It's proven to reduce joint discomfort rapidly, continuously, and persistently. It improves the appearance of crow's feet after 4 weeks and improves skin tone after 8 weeks. And it promotes hair thickness, growth, and a reduction in hair breakage.
It has transformed everything from my hair. Like, my hair was starting to kind of just, come out, and I don't have that anymore. My skin feels amazing.
Call the number on your screen and find out how to get a free bottle when you order, plus free shipping and our 30-day money-back guarantee. And as a bonus, we will include Dr. Josh Axe and Jordan Rubin's revolutionary book, Multi-Collagen Makeover, free with your order, plus free shipping and free returns.
I have implicit trust in Dr. Axe because the plan worked. I'm living proof of it.
This is the collagen protein that is backed by clinical studies. It's what my family uses, it's what I use, and I know you're gonna benefit in a big way as well.
Love the results or get your money back. This special TV offer is not available in stores. Call the number on your screen or go online now.
Kids love it. Parents trust it.
Obviously.
Explore GJW Plus Kids Series and Ganjiang Campus courses led by expert educators.
This is spectacular.
Children will learn values like respect, responsibility, and knowledge in language, science, and more.
Wow.
All while having fun.
Perfect.
Subscribe today at GJW Plus Kids, where learning meets fun.
Welcome back. As the weather turns crisp, it's time to fire up the stove and bring those cozy fall flavors to the table. Chef Thierry Mezqua from Papatzul Restaurant in New York City joined Carrie Dunst and me in the studio this week to help kick off the season with some beautiful fall recipes.
We are surrounded by
our website.
Look at that butter
perfect.
melting.
So that's good. And now you can start adding the garlic, the onions.
Oh, okay. Some garlic.
And what are we working with over here, Chef?
Oh, over here we have the spices. So we have some ginger, some cinnamon, some allspice, some cloves.
Okay.
And some black pepper.
Can I start throwing that in, or
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
All right, here we go.
Yes. Yeah. So this is a very, very simple, very easy recipe. And all you have to do is if you have all the vegetables ready. Over here we have the pumpkin. So this we roasted it and we got it ready and we scooped it out. So that's the #1 thing that you want to do. I'd say the hardest thing to do is just cutting the pumpkin. Just make sure you have a really sharp knife.
Look at that.
Okay, and you can go ahead and add all the vegetables. So we have some celery, some carrots, and some leeks.
Oh yeah.
A lot of chopping involved here.
Yeah.
Sure, but it's for a soup, so you don't have to be crazy. You don't have to be perfect.
Okay.
And Yes. Beautiful.
Oh, because we'll be blending it up.
Correct. Yes,
anyway.
we're going to put everything in a blender.
Chef,
and
this one is particularly special for Mexican cooking, right?
That's right. Yes. So you know, there's a lot of pumpkin soups all over the world, but see this one, we add some chipotle, and it just gives it a little bit of heat, but mostly it's the flavor, the smoky flavor.
All right,
and
smoky flavor.
You can put one more. It's okay.
Oh, all right.
Okay,
We're gonna
one more.
test Chef's capabilities there. I like it spicy though, so there we go.
There we go.
You're gonna be brewing me later,
Sounds
but
good. So I'll add some pepper,
Okay,
some salt. You can keep stirring it.
yes. Oh, look at that.
So
Beautiful.
it's the chipotle that gives it the real authentic traditional.
Yeah, and the
flavor.
spices for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, like if you do this, there's other soup, for example, in Europe, there's different herbs, and they wouldn't use these spices.
Right.
These spices are very typical in Mexican cooking, and so now also we have some honey.
Oh, the honey.
Yeah, you
okay.
can add some honey.
So the heat and the sweet, right?
Yes, correct.
What's the
you
right
can,
amount?
You can do half of what's in there.
Half, okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's
Yeah,
get
it,
that going.
it has a lot of flavors. It's going to be really nicely balanced, and so yes, and so okay, so you can stir a little bit more, and then we'll add the water. We'll add some water.
Add the pumpkin first or no?
Oh no, we'll add the water first, and then
I
add the
see.
pumpkin. The pumpkin is already cooked,
I see.
and so the idea is to just get this going.
How much water do we want, Chef?
We want 3/4 of that.
3/4. All
Yes.
right. Oh yeah.
There we go. Fantastic.
Okay.
All right, so then you can stir a little.
Okay.
Half of the
let's do
pumpkin.
that.
So this is all going to get into the blender,
Want
right?
to help you with that, or you got it?
Should be okay. Thank
All
you.
right.
Do you see the beautiful colors,
Oh,
full
yeah.
colors?
Oh, look at all those yellows and oranges, a little bit of reds.
More?
Oh yeah, you can put some more. Yes.
All right. Okay. And
All right.
Excellent.
it's almost ready
And
for blending.
ready to
is that right?
blend, yeah?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that's right. So yeah, so yeah, we're gonna just start blending it.
Okay. Here we go.
All right.
Woohoo.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Okay. Wonderful.
All right. All right, fireworks now, yes?
Yes,
Here
sir.
we go.
There it goes.
There you go. And yes, excellent. And yes, we're gonna add some cream.
Cream, all right. And what kind of cream is that,
So
Chef?
this is Mexican crema. If you don't have any, if you can find any, creme fraiche will be good.
right.
However, if you can't find that
Okay.
either, you can put some sour cream.
Amazing.
All right, you want to do the
basically-
honors
I'm
there?
so-
Yes, sir.
All right. Oh, excellent. That
All
looks
right.
pretty good. And I know, Chef, you've actually prepared some
Yes.
earlier, which
That's right.
we may be able to have a taste of.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
All right. So
And this
here
is
we
what
are.
the final product looks like.
Yes.
Wow, look at that.
Okay, delicious.
So yeah, this
Okay.
is a very hearty soup. It'll warm your whole body.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I really
let's
recommend
go.
it. And as you can see, so simple, so easy to make.
And this
So
is
wholesome.
at Papazul in Soho, yes?
Yes,
This is
that's right.
traditional Mexican pumpkin soup.
And
All
you
right.
can smell
Hot, yeah.
all the spices, the cinnamon.
Thank you.
All right.
You're
And
welcome.
while I'm going to enjoy this, but I'm very eager to learn about
go.
candied pumpkin as
Yes,
well. Because
that's
this
right.
is quite a
That's the next
tradition,
one.
this dish, right?
Yes, absolutely. So
Oh, yes.
should we start the
Let's
second
start,
one?
but this,
Okay.
Oh,
this
but
is
wow,
really
that's the stuff.
Isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful.
We'll have to
So you
save
can have that with
for
some bread or
afterwards.
some tortillas.
Hope you don't mind if I just sort of eat this soup
Okay.
while we
Go
make
ahead.
candied pumpkin.
Absolutely. You can eat and we'll get this going.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah.
Excellent.
That's right.
So you can
All right,
go ahead
let's
and
do it.
add the
Add
other piece of butter.
Okay, here we go.
Okay,
Vinegar.
and this is
Everything.
also very simple to make. It's very quick.
Sugar, right?
Yeah, you can add. So
All
this
of
is
it?
unprocessed. This is unrefined Mexican
Okay,
sugar.
and we're putting 1 star of these in.
Yeah,
I
just
believe.
1
Is that
star
right?
anise.
Okay.
Correct.
And
Some
how much
you
of
can
this?
put
Just a hand?
6 cloves is good. Yeah.
Okay,
6
that's
cloves,
all right.
okay.
All of the.
Yes, all the
got
oranges
this.
and fine. Yeah.
Excellent.
So as you can see, these
beautiful.
are.
Look at those oranges.
Oh,
This
and a
is
beautiful.
Ooh, no, we don't want to add the whole thing. Yeah, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Hey, it's an art, not a
It's my
science,
fault.
right?
It's my fault.
Your staff are getting
Now,
a lot of
some
hand.
water. You can add some water.
Okay.
Look at that,
let's do
too.
it.
That's
Yes.
beautiful.
Oh, yeah. So
whole
yeah,
thing?
I want
That's
you
the
to
Mexican
see this
cinnamon,
Mexican
right?
cinnamon, which is Very citrusy.
Citrusy
that's
compared to
perfect.
regular. Okay.
Okay, some vanilla.
Vanilla, all right.
And we'll add the
I'll need to ask how much of this.
Oh, go ahead.
Just a dash?
little more, yeah.
Oh man.
Perfect. That's
okay.
excellent.
All right.
Okay, and now we're going to add. So you see this? We just cleaned the pumpkins. If you don't peel it, it's okay. It'll work.
Okay.
And you want to cut them in fairly big pieces.
Wow.
So that
this
they.
turns into that, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
It's quite easy to go from this to that, right?
Yes. That's right. You just need a sharp knife.
Sure. Just get your steel, and you'll be in good shape.
Yeah. And so what you're doing here, you want to bring this to a boil.
Okay.
And basically, you're gonna lower the temperature and let it cook slowly, so that the liquid becomes a nice syrup.
I'm already getting the aromas off
Yes,
this.
yes,
I
yes.
can just imagine you're watching some football on the
Right.
couch,
That's
and
right.
it's just filling
Oh,
the
yeah.
house with these beautiful aromas.
And
Oh.
in fact, traditionally you can have it for breakfast. You can
This
have
is
it
a
with
breakfast
some milk.
food.
You can have it with some milk. You can have it room temperature or warm.
Syrup,
it works.
a big
Yes,
component, right?
Correct.
So
Yes.
that's
And so yeah, so you bring it to a bowl, then you cover it and you let it cook slowly until it gets nice and syrupy.
Okay.
Yes, especially in small villages, basically the whole village goes to the cemeteries, and you can imagine some of these cemeteries are centuries old.
Oh, wow.
And so it's very spiritual.
Yeah, I can imagine the reverence of going to one's, ancestors' burial spot, and just how special that must be for the whole community to come out.
Absolutely, yes, and people sing, and they do drink, but it's a very calm, very spiritual, very.
Yeah,
very,
watching the sunrise with your
Correct.
whole community
yes.
must just
Oh,
be
yeah. Oh yes, you can imagine.
really special.
And some of these cemeteries are on top of the mountains, and it's beautiful.
But the spices in this are very unique.
Oh yes.
Yes. Very beautiful.
Thank you so
warming.
much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Chef, it's been
yeah,
such a
the
pleasure to
cinnamon-
cook pumpkin with
Thank
you
you.
for the fall.
Thank you so much.
I think this gets everybody into the spirit for Halloween and Thanksgiving, and of course, the upcoming Day of the Dead. Chef
Wonderful.
Thierry Amezcua, such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yes,
you so
of
much. My
course.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
Now, it's been a decade since a landmark study sparked new guidelines recommending peanut products be introduced to young babies. It's aimed at preventing the development of life-threatening allergies. Since then, peanut allergies in the U.S. have declined significantly, according to a new study. Here's a closer look at the data and how an expert says peanut products can safely be introduced to babies.
For decades, parents were told to keep peanuts and nut products away from young children until age 3. But in 2015, research caused experts to flip-flop. The current guidelines say introducing these foods in infancy can actually help prevent food allergies.
The end goal is to see this tide turn.
A new study published in the journal Pediatrics determined about 60,000 children have avoided food allergies since guidelines changed, including 40,000 children who otherwise would have developed peanut allergies. Still, about 8% of children are affected by food allergies, including more than 2% with a peanut allergy.
There's been a lot of fear.
Dr. Ruchi Gupta says that fear may have stopped some from following the guidelines, but she says parents should start introducing peanut products as soon as their baby is ready to eat solid foods, usually around 4 to 6 months.
Use like peanut butter, smooth peanut butter, and then thin it out with breast milk, formula, applesauce, whatever you desire. And then slowly introduce it to your baby. A little bit on the lip, let them lick it, add a little bit more.
Gupta says when introducing peanut products, parents should watch out for signs of an allergy like rash, hives, and vomiting. She says those are the most common symptoms in babies with a food allergy.
But if they eat it just fine, then I recommend just keeping it in their diet, keeping it in 2 to 3 times a week. And hopefully, that way they go on to enjoying it.
Dr. Gupta says the more different foods parents can introduce to children at a young age, the better. That includes other allergenic foods such as yogurt and eggs. And finally, nature's comedy show shines in a wacky wildlife photo contest. Here's a haunting yet informational look at some of our favorite critters.
Don't Look Now, an elephant shielding its peepers, and a bird getting blasted in the beak are among the finalists for the Nikon Comedy Wildlife Awards, the annual funny photography series highlighting creatures aggressively hugging and massively mugging for the cameras. Look at that big old bear smile. Even the most emo entrants help support sustainable conservation organizations. Some entries fully prepared to kick the competition, or maybe that's a high five? Others seemingly ready to lick the competition, which is an option apparently. And if all else fails, you could smoke the competition. Some nominees simply surprised to be included among the prodigious picks. The Laugh Out Loud list of finalists has 40 photos, 3 portfolios, and 10 videos whittled down from nearly 10,000 images of animal antics. The overall comedy champ will be announced at an awards night in London in December. Until then, feel free to whisper to a close friend who you think will win.
And that's all for today's news. Thank you for tuning in. Stay with us for NTD Evening News at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific.